What is going on, YouTube? So coming back today with my next NBA draft scouting report. So today I'll be doing Dragan Bender, and yesterday I did Torn Prince. So if you've not seen any of my previous NBA draft scouting reports, go check all those out. I'll put the link to all those in the description below. So like I said, doing Dragan Bender today. So go through some of his background information, stats, and such. So he's a 7 foot, 220 pound power forward out of Croatia, or not Croatia, Bosnia Herzegovina. There we go. He's 18 years old, 7'2" wingspan, and plays for Maccabi Tel Aviv. So this is probably the most raw young prospect in the draft. At least that's projected to be a top 10, maybe even a top 5 pick. So to be honest, I think Kristaps Porzingis' success in New York his first year is helping Dragan Bender out tremendously. I do think that Kristaps was a better prospect coming into this year, or coming into this previous draft than Bender is coming into this coming draft. But again, Bender's a little bit more raw than Porzingis was going into the draft. So some of his stats, like I said, he plays for Maccabi Tel Aviv. It has since 2014 when he played for their junior team. He's already playing pro ball, which is good. He's played 22 games this year, shooting a 50% field goal percentage, which isn't bad. Shooting's definitely improved. He's shooting 44% from three, which again is solid. And all signs point to him being tremendously improved as a shooter, which is one of the big knocks against him. He also, let's see here. Where's rebounds? Oh, okay. He averages about 3 rebounds per game. Wow. Expected more than that. But anyway, get into his strengths. So first one is his size and length. Like I said, 7 foot with a 7'2" wingspan at the power forward spot is definitely a desired size. He comes into this NBA draft being probably the most lengthy power forward at a 9'3" standing reach, which is also very, very impressive. Now, of course, that rebounding, those rebounding numbers should obviously be a little bit better with his size. But anyway, get into his second strength, which is his stealing and potential. Now, this comes just really from 2 reasons. One is his experience. This guy's been playing junior ball over in Europe, like pro junior, or like high-level junior ball, not pro-level junior ball. It's redundant, or actually not redundant, whatever. Anyway, he's been playing good or high-level junior ball and pro ball since 2012, and that means he's been playing junior ball since he was like 13, 14 years old. So he's got the experience there. All signs point to him being a high potential player. He's actually pretty athletic, pretty fluid for being a 7-footer. He can show that he can shoot really from all over the court, or at least he has the potential to, if he can find that consistency and that rhythm. And obviously that size and fluidity translates to defense if he can get a little bit more consistent on that end of the floor too. So next strength is he's a solid facilitator. Now, he averages about 1 assist per game this year. I mean, he was only playing 13.7 minutes. Got to keep that in mind. Like, still a young guy. I believe during most of the season he was 17 years old. So again, still extremely young, but that's been one of his biggest strengths for, I'm pretty sure, the last 2 years is his ability to pass the ball in transition, especially for his height. Like I said, he moves pretty well in transition. He's a pretty good dribbler too, and he has the ability to play point forward. If you watch a lot of his highlights, especially of him in transition and him facilitating in transition, it is extremely impressive to watch. So get into his next strength, which he can stretch the floor, and he's still a good interior scorer. So he has potential with the right hook. He's already pretty good with it, and like I said, he's a very, very dramatically improving jump shooter, especially from 3. So like I said, 3-point percentage is up about 50% from what it was a year ago. where he shot around 39%. Like I said, it's up to around 44% now. 50%, what am I saying? 5%. So, like I said, extremely impressive improvement with that. I think that's going to continue to improve, especially when he does come over to the NBA. There's been talk about when he comes over to the NBA, whether it's going to be whether it is going to be this coming season or if it's going to be when he turns like 21 years old. There's been talk that he will stay overseas until he's 21 years old. So, like I said, he can become a fluid scorer all over the offensive floor. He's good in transition. Now, the problem is the two don't really connect. He's not a very good guy that's going to stretch the floor, that's going to create his own offense. That's something that's probably going to have to develop on its own, or that he's going to have a lot of work on in the NBA. So get into his fist strength, and he has the potential to be an extremely good defender. He's already a pretty good fundamental defender. Now, like I said, with a 9-3 standing reach, fluid movement, good agility, solid lateral ability to stay with some of the better offensive players on the floor, especially as a wing defender. That's something that's really hard to find and something that's extremely valuable. I think that's one of the biggest reasons why he should be a top 5 pick. One of the areas that I think he'll definitely develop well with. So get into his weaknesses, and the first one is he's not a great offensive creator. So I mentioned this, the connection between transition and just as a spot-up shooter really isn't there. He's not very good at changing directions. Obviously, he's a 7-footer. That's probably not going to be one of his strong points. At 7 foot, you're not expected to be a point guard that's going to slash and drive, but that's something that Kristaps Porzingis was special with. Again, that's probably the biggest comparison to Bender that pretty much everyone makes when they talk about Dragan Bender. So, like I said, he's a good facilitator, but at the same time, he is a little bit slow off the dribble. He's not a very good driver, and he doesn't create too much separation, which leads to a lot of tough jumpers. And one of the bigger knocks against him also is he stands very straight after he catches the ball, and then he goes into a shooting process, which probably takes an extra second or two and allows defenders to close in a lot faster and takes away a lot of his shot opportunities. So get into his next weakness, which is struggles on post defense. Now, this is a result of pretty much two things. One is just inexperience, defending some of the stronger post players, probably over in the EuroLeague, and also just his overall strength. Now, at 7 foot 220, I mean, this kid's like 17, 18 years old. Like, the strength will come along. That's just something that he'll need to work on when he's in the NBA. Slap on a few pounds. He put on 5 pounds in the last, I believe, 5 months, which isn't anything dramatic, but at least he's gaining some weight. And I think as that weight is added, the defensive fundamentals and on-ball awareness increase, then he'll progress as, I guess, all those things start becoming natural to him. So get into the third weakness and the final one, and that's pretty much what I was just talking about. His strength and frame needs improvement. So when you're a 7-footer and you're only 220 pounds, you're probably going to get bullied in the paint. So like I said, one of the knocks against him is he does have good rebounding potential. He's fluid, so he should be able to get to the glass. He's got a 7'2" wingspan with a 9'3" standing reach, and what looked like actually a pretty impressive vertical for his height. Once he fills out that frame, that should probably be something that is extremely hard to contend with. Now, I think that it's going to take him probably, if he does come over to the NBA this coming year, it's probably going to take him 2 or 3 years to really fill out that frame. First few years might be tough for him in the post in the NBA. I mean, it just depends on how much work he puts into the gym. I don't know too much about him, just personality-wise. Like, I've seen a few interviews, but it's hard to get a read off like 5 or 6 interviews. So, from what I've heard, good work ethic, good character, and a lot of experience. A little bit beyond his age for his basketball IQ, from what I've seen. So that covers all the strengths and weaknesses of Dragan Bender. So talk about his NBA projections. So I know the most common Place he's gone in mock drafts is the Boston Celtics at number 3. Now, obviously, that's not a set-in-stone thing, but I believe that's where he's gone in most of my mock drafts. I think that's where he's gone in most people's mock drafts just in general. NBADraft.net, trying to pull up the mock draft right now for their last one. And let's see here. All right, this is taking a really long time to load. All right, so just talk about where I think he fits in best. I think he needs to go to a team where he's not going to be thrown in the fire immediately. This guy isn't a guy I think that's ready to handle that much pressure straight out of the gate. I think he's going to need a few years of development. Again, I don't know if he's going to come over this coming year or if he's going to wait more years or wait like 3 more years. There's been a few articles talking about him having the large possibility of waiting to come over to the U.S. So let me see where I had him in my mock draft. All right. Sorry, this is taking so long. In my mock draft, I had him at number 3 to the Phoenix Suns. Now, again, I think he fits in well with any team that is in need of a franchise player long term, especially if they need some help down low with an aging big. I think that would be the best case scenario for a guy like this. Now, again, you got to take into account the fact that he's not going to be able to be thrown into the fire extremely quickly. I mean, Kristaps Porzingis was kind of a revelation. I don't think it's I can't I mean he's different. He's a different player. You can't expect him to take the same course as Porzingis. But I think a lot of the comparisons are valid. A lot of the comparisons are there. Both are good shooters. I think both will be extremely good shooters for a long time. And I think best case scenario, you look at Dragan Bender averaging about 14 and 8, 14 points, 8 rebounds his rookie year. Worst case scenario, it's very, very possible that he averages around 6 and 2. I mean, like I said, rebounding's a little bit of a struggle sometimes for him. But yeah, I can't pull up that mock draft right now. So if you do want to check it out, it's NBADraft.net. I'm pretty sure most of you guys are aware of it. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Like I said, yesterday did... who was it? Oh, yeah. Yesterday I did Torrent Prince. Day before that, Bryce Johnson. So both those will be in the outro. And then, like I said, the link to the entire playlist, all my NBA Draft Scouting Reports. I believe this was the 9th one, so got a few more in there. Will be in the description below. Tomorrow we'll be coming back with Thon Maker, an extremely interesting one to talk about, a guy that hasn't had a lot of exposure because he found a loophole in getting to jump to the NBA draft early. So that's pretty much it. It's the 7, and then I believe this will be 8 total for the NBA draft because I did one before the scouting report week started. So my last one that I did was, I believe, Bryce Johnson, and then the next one will be Dragan Bender. So one of the bigger names there in the draft, probably a top 5 prospect.